Hey there, and welcome back to Start Adventuring, a channel dedicated to empowering new role players to break down their barriers and just start adventuring. I'm Baxter.
And I'm Ben. And this week we'll be running the 9th adventure in our Candlekeep Mysteries one-on-one shot campaign. We're playing D&D out of our comfort zone, one-on-one, one-shot adventures, all from the Candlekeep Mysteries, and we're learning a lot while we're doing it. Hopefully it's interesting and educational to you too. If you like what we've been doing here, remember to like this video and please subscribe to the channel to follow along as we continue this one-on-one shot campaign and as we explore other things having to do with D&D and encouraging new players to experiment and just start adventuring. We are not, as we have been doing a session 0 separately for this session. So Baxter's going to introduce us to his character a little bit at the beginning of this video. So Baxter, why don't you take it away and tell us a little bit about Eddie Hands?
Yeah, Eddie Hands is a level 4 College of Eloquence Bard and level 4 Inquisitive Rogue. He's multi-classed. But as a character, he is a very successful hand model. So for this reason, he does not like to get into any kind of altercations. He likes to talk or think his way out of problems. He has his trusty drum that he likes to play in his spare time that he always keeps kind of lathered up with lotion to make sure it's soft and nice for his hands. And you can see actually on his hip there, he makes his own like cleansing hand sanitizer, hand lotion kind of a situation in case he does get his hands dirty.
The good classes for someone who doesn't like combat with all the skill proficiencies and expertise and stuff that you get from Rogue and from Bard. That's cool. What race is he? Is he like a satyr?
He's a half elf, half tiefling. I thought that was fun. Awesome. So normally, and I think that the long flowing beard is because a lot of his classmates when he was growing up in the elven schools would make fun of him a little bit for his demon horns, but he always could grow facial hair and beards and things when they couldn't, so he really embraced that element of him.
I love it. Well, great. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, I'm pretty excited. Lore of Lurue is I guess let's just get into it, right?
Yeah, this is our adaptation of Lore of Lurue from the Candlekeep Mysteries. So, Eddie Hands has received a message from an old friend of his who has worked her way up to a high position in Candlekeep, the famous library outside of Baldur's Gate. Madame Longquill, as she's known there, has sent a message to her very successful model friend Eddie Hands, asking him to come as her personal guest to pilot test a new experience that, if successful, could yield some publicity and marketing work that might require a hand model. So she's trying to get Eddie Hands in. The letter that you received suggested that she's trying to get Eddie Hands in on it.
It's a
kind
business
of on the
op.
ground
It's
floor.
a business op. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a business op and a friend helping out another friend. A friend in a position of power helping out another successful friend. So you've received this message. You've come to Candlekeep. You got personal access into, past the lines. You're not like the normal speakers. I don't know if Eddie Hands has any sort of superiority complex or anything like that, but you were whisked away to Madame Longquill's private offices, and as you enter into the room, you see the face of your old friend, and she greets you warmly and says, "Eddie Hands in the flesh, it is wonderful to see you." And she approaches you to give you a hug. I don't know if Eddie Hands is a hugger.
He puts his arms up, his hands up around the sky. Watch the hands, Longquill. What is Madame Longquill's name? Have we given her a first name?
I believe you did, but I don't remember what it is. So she is just Madame Longquill in the official lore.
Watch the hands, madam.
She kind of inclines her head to you and says, yes, titles and all those things. And she gives you a nice nod and says, "Come, we haven't much time. I was very excited to show this to you. Some weeks ago," and she gestures over at her desk, and you see sitting on her desk is a purple tome, this bright purple with gold embossing on it and a crest of a unicorn. Make for me a religion check.
Ooh, religion. One of the only things I don't think that I am. Yeah, no. Yeah, Eddie Hands is unfamiliar. He rolled a 7.
It's got this golden unicorn on it. And she says to you, some weeks ago, we discovered in the library this tome, which was penned by the first High Mage of Silvery Moon, the great elven city. Now, not only is it a historical artifact for that reason, it is also enchanted with a unique magic that makes it a living storybook, which is to say that when open and read, it transports the reader to the world of the story. Now, as you know, tourism at Candlekeep has been down, and being able to reproduce this sort of experience with some of our more popular tomes could prove very lucrative for us here at Candlekeep. And I thought if we could get that initiative off the ground, you could be the face, or shall we say, the hands of the advertising effort. However, we do need someone to pilot test the experience.
So what you're saying is, if I act as your little lab dragon here, I'll get this gig and I'll get to show my beautiful hands to the world and make money?
Well, I wouldn't put it so negatively as to call you a lab dragon. I mean, you are receiving the unique experience of being among the first to enjoy the Lore of Lurue.
Wow.
But yes, in short, yes.
All right, well, madam, I'm excited. Let's go ahead and get this. So how does this work? He goes up and he doesn't obviously touch it or pick it up, but he starts kind of like nodding with his head. Like, how does this work?
Our mages have spent some time with it, attempting to reverse engineer the enchantments. It's very simple. The understanding is that should you open it and simply turn the page and begin to read, the magic will do the rest.
Okay. Will you open it for me, please? I don't want to damage my hands.
She looks at you a little bit, she's a little bit hesitant, but she... Make a persuasion check for me.
Oh, this is great. So, a little, on the fun side of it, guys, the way that this character is built, so I rolled a 15. I get a plus 10 to persuasion, so that is a 25. But this character, because of the College of Eloquence Bard, everything that I roll on a persuasion check that is less than 10 is counted as a 10. So that plus my modifier, I cannot roll lower than 20 on a persuasion check. So that's a 25.
Eddie Hands is irresistible. And, you know, Madame Longquill takes a look at Eddie Hands' beautiful hands and realizes, yeah, you know, I don't want him to damage his hands opening a book. And she very gingerly reaches over to the cover of Lore of Lurue and undoes the clasp, which kind of lands with a heavy thud to the right of the book. She pulls it open, and upon the first page, you see, in gold script, Lore of Lurue, a history of the founding of Silvery Moon, by Ecamain Truesilver. And she says, do you need me to turn the first page, or...
No, I'm not done. I'm not done reading
they're much
yet,
lighter, I don't imagine.
But when I am finished reading, yes, you're going to need to turn the pages for the hand model. Yes, that's going to... I thought that was a given.
She kind of like demurs a little bit and says, "Oh,
no, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be
and
mean. I just many hands, got to keep the money makers safe. You get it. You get it.
Of course. It's been a long time, Eddie. I'm sorry. I'm stressed out with things here at Candlekeep, and we really do need this initiative to be successful. You know, Candlekeep has gone downhill a lot. I don't want to start talking. Don't tell anyone.
You called the right person. You called the right person, madam. Just look. I'll blink 3 times when I'm ready for you to turn the page. How about that? Does that sound good? Okay.
She nods to you.
All right. And Eddie's just gonna start reading the book.
Well, so the only thing on this first page is that title, Lore of Lurue, A History of the Foundation of Silvery Moon by Eckermain Truesilver.
Okay, he reads that again and he blinks 3 times.
So, Madame Longquill pinches the edge of the page and starts to turn it, and as she does, trailing along behind the page as it opens, is a flash of golden light that illuminates the room, almost like an explosion out from the book. She, jumps back as it opens, and the room, as the light passes you, goes dark, and you hear a voice in your head begin to say, as golden script sort of illuminates the darkness in, sparkling light. Think, a fairy tale, like Tinkerbell writing out the Disney logo. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
It illuminates the darkness in front of you. Our story starts during the time leading up to the winter solstice on the night of Uktar in the year 374 DR. And all of a sudden, as it describes these things, they start to appear in the darkness rising up around you, and the script continues in the sky. A nearly full moon rises behind wispy clouds as a star-speckled sky darkens against a fading horizon. And all of a sudden, all around you now is a dense wood, and you can hear the sounds of animals in the distance and things crunching in the foliage. The voice continues, "It seems silent and still here in the heart of the forest. But to anyone who knows the forest well, that silence can be misleading." And you're left alone for a moment standing there before a booming and almost robotic voice says, "Your steps forward will be the turning pages of this living history of the foundation of the city of Silvery Moon. If ever you need assistance along the way, consult this tome. Please keep your arms, hands, feet, horns, fins, and any additional appendages inside the Lore of Lurue at all times. Thank you." And all of a sudden, in the forest, you see these kind of walls of golden light. Some ways around you just appear and kind of trace a path up a hill toward what looks like a clearing in the trees at the top of the hill. And the book is laying in front of you in the clearing. And as you're standing there and this announcement finishes, the walls disappear and you are free inside of this strange virtual reality attraction.
Okay, I'm going to go over to the book that's laying on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
And open it up with using my shoe, kick open the cover.
Kick it open.
Get kind of to the second page and start trying to read the second page.
So when you open up the book, there's nothing written on it. Instead, a bluish spectral image of an elven man appears and says, "Hello, I am Eckermain Truesilver, your guide to the Lore of Lurue."
Hi, Eckermain. So what's going on? What's the story? We're here, we're living it. I just start walking. What's the situation?
You are inside the story of the foundation of Silvery Moon.
Okay,
yes.
I want to kick it closed and just start walking forward.
Yeah, you walk up the hill in the direction that those walls had outlined a path. The indication from those walls is that there's a single sort of path to walk up the hill.
Okay.
And as you crest to the top of the hill, you enter into a large forest clearing, a plateau. At the center, there's a large maple tree, and you see various satyrs kind of dancing around. Some are drinking, some have smoking branches that they are waving around. Just a revel taking place in this clearing. And as you appear on the edge, you do hear some of the satyrs going, "What the heck? Who's that guy? What the heck? Do you speak Sylvan?"
I do speak Sylvan.
So yes, you would recognize...
I take that back. I speak Elvish.
Oh, okay. So you would recognize the Sylvan as Sylvan, and you would probably pick up some words because they are related languages.
Mm-hmm.
they say essentially, "What the heck? Who's that guy? What? Oh man, he's crashing the party. Is that the cops?" Kind of thing.
Yeah, Eddie Hands is just gonna keep walking forward, saying, "Oh, what a fun ride."
Well, directly ahead of you is the maple tree, and as you approach it, a face appears in it. Like you realize that the sort of nodding in the tree looks like a beard, and it's a wizened, old but kind face greets you and says, "Hello, I am Fëanor, a treant of the wood. I thank you for coming to visit us here."
You're welcome. They're paying me eventually. What can I do for you, sir? Tell me your tale, oh great tree.
Without missing a beat, this weird animatronic, like, narrows its eyes and takes on this really grim visage and says, "Some days ago, darkness fell upon the wood." And you can see in the kind of, like, dim sunset lit sky, all of a sudden storm clouds begin to appear in the distance and trace off, and he says, "The pool of eternal spring has been tainted, and we fear for the sanctity of our natural environment. I beseech you, please, to help us."
You got it. As long as I don't have to get my hands dirty. What do I have to do?
No. In fact, we seek cleanliness. The pool of eternal spring has been tainted and soiled. Please discover the source of this tarnishing and bring purity again to the wood, he says in a very sort of dramatic, sonorous voice.
Okay, all right, I can do that. Where exactly is the spring? Can you just, like, point me in the direction of the spring and I'll take care of it?
And all of a sudden, all around the edges of the plateau, that golden light reappears, those, like, walls, and they trace out around the plateau to a path off to the north, away from the plateau, and he says, "Walk until you reach the riverbank, and there on the other side you will find the pool of eternal spring. Make haste, but if you wish to consult with the fairies of Dewbright at the edge of the plateau, they may be able to help you on your journey."
Okay, I'm sorry. I was, like, looking to see if my hands were dirty. Can you just explain that one more time? The fairies? Where are they? Point me in the direction of the fairies that I need to go to. And then he looks and sees the gold light, and he goes, "Oh, okay, all right. I'm going that way. I'll see you later, Mr. Tree."
He says, the sprites of Dewbright live on the edge of the plateau. You should see them as you leave."
Oh, as I leave. Got it. Okay, thank goodness for NPC dialogue. Gosh. And he just keeps looking. He's gonna keep, by the way, his passive perception is 17. So I think
just keep an eye out.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye out for, I guess, the fairies that can help me.
Well, as you walk past, and as you're walking away from the tree, you do hear him say again, "The pool of eternal spring has been tarnished," just kind of like fading off into the distance behind you, the same dialogue that you heard before. And the satyrs are still partying, kind of like, with your passive perception, you do notice that they're like tracing predetermined routes. Like it looked very chaotic at first, but now you're realizing that it's very much like on a track. And even the stuff like, "Who is that? Is that the cops? What are they doing?" Like all of those Sylvan statements are just reiterated again. As you head to the north side of the plateau toward that path, which is very clearly like the only, dirt path out of the plateau. And then off to the right-hand side, with your passive perception, you do notice little lights flitting along this area of mushrooms, which are all kinds of colors of mushrooms, off to the right a little bit of the path, but very noticeable, not hidden, really.
Okay, Yeah, I'd like to just start walking toward the light, man.
You're going to the mushrooms or toward the... Because the light went down, like the light... Which light? You mean the light in the mushrooms or the light that lit the path up?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were saying the path changed to this new mushroom path.
No. So,
no,
like,
I'm staying.
Out of the plateau.
No. Eddie Hands sees that. He marks it in his mind as a beta tester that there's some weird activity going on in the mushroom fields after you talk to the old tree. But he's not interested in getting involved with any hinky code stuff right now. He's going forward on the designated path.
I will tell you, make a perception check real quick as you're walking past.
It's a 16.
Okay. Yep, you're staying on the designated path. You go past the mushrooms, clocking it, and you head on down the path. As you continue for some ways down the path, the forest begins to darken, and in the distance, you can hear cracks of thunder. There's actually like red light coming out of those clouds that are gathering directly in front of you in the distance. And you can also...
the fairies. Oh.
You can also start to smell just like decaying things. The forest, which had been like full of life, you're now entering the haunted forest section of the ride, and you can smell like rotten things, and you can hear skittering in the brush to the sides of you. And as you continue, you can hear ahead of you all of a sudden a cry of help! Help!
Eddie's gonna start walking a little bit more briskly, but not like running over there.
You're very casually power walking toward the cries for help. And ahead of you, you see very clearly, like right in the middle of the path, is just a tangle of spider webs. And in the center, there's a writhing mass, and you can see a head sticking out of a, like, cocoon of webbing. A dark-haired male face, middle-aged, just going, help, you!
Yeah, what do you need, sir? Activate dialogue train 1, please.
I've been captured by the beasts of this wood.
I know some fairies that might... I can't fight anything, sir. I'm a hand model. And he kind of puts his hands
Get
up.
me out of here. I'll fight them. I'll slaughter them all.
So here's the issue, sir. I can't rip that webbing. So...
Are you a dirty satyr? You don't want to help me?
Okay, that's racist. I'm not, and it wouldn't be anything wrong if I was. I'm leaving you to die, sir. I'm going back to the fairies. I'm going to turn around and go back to the fairies.
Okay. You turn around and head back toward the Polvarth Plateau, and as you do hear that guy saying, help, help, as you turn around and head back that direction. And as soon as you get back there, you turn to your left to the mushrooms, where there's that little bit of light. And as you approach, you hear a little voice say, halt! Who goes there?
I just keep walking. Or wait, this is the fairies that say this?
From the mushrooms, you hear that.
Yeah. Player number 1, Eddie Hands.
And you see a little head poke out from behind one of the mushrooms. An elderly-looking man, although tiny, a little sprite, with little spectacles and a mustache, goes, Eddie Hands? And what business have you with the sprites of Dewbright?
This old tree wants me to clear the infection from a pool, from a spring, and there's this guy that's been captured by spiders. I can't do anything about him, but he's kind of low-key a racist, so I'm not really interested in having
You actually see
involved.
the sprite's eyes do widen when you mention this man, and he kind of scrambles out from behind the mushroom to another mushroom. He kind of just plops down and, like, bounces and says, what did the man look like?
He had dark hair, and he was just a head. There was probably a body, but it was wrapped up.
Was he human?
I think he was, yeah.
So Feanor was right. Cultists of the Beast Lord Malor have come.
Oh,
they are
wow.
killing the wildlife and desecrating the forest. They seek a battle between the god of forest and the goddess of the moon, Saloon and Lurue. They wish to bring agony and desecration to the forest, he says.
Oh, wow. Well, the tree man probably would not prefer that. So let's stop it. How can you guys point me in the direction of the great battle? I just want to let you guys know I can't battle myself. But I'll watch.
Can you stop them then? The cultists of Malar, they have brought desecration to the wood.
Thank you. And I just start leaving to go back to, I guess, the guy with the wrapped up in the webs.
As you turn around, you hear this sprite shout, "Wait! Brave adventurer!" And he pulls out this little pendant from a pocket that he has and says, "Take this. It will give you the ability to speak to the beasts of the wood."
Oh, good. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot more helpful, because, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to fight them. I'd probably have ended up joining them, convincing you to join them. It would have been a whole thing. Okay, cool. Thank you.
And then you hear him say, "Good luck, brave adventurer! End the desecration of the cultists of Malar!" And then he, very robotically sort of, lifts up and goes back behind the mushroom.
And Eddie kind of writes that down in the notes that the animation needs to be a little bit tighter in the fairy room.
So you return in the direction of the person stuck in the webs, and as you approach, you hear him say, "Help! Help! I have been captured by the beasts of this wood."
I would like to... Do I have the talisman or whatever that allows me to speak to the beasts or whatever? I'd like to put that on and just start yelling, "Dinner's ready! Right? Who wants dinner?"
And as you do that, you do hear in the bush to the side of you skittering, and then very shakily and slowly, the head of a giant spider appears and looks at you, and chitters, and you can that pendant that you have starts to glow, and you can hear, "I do not want to eat him. I merely wished to protect myself. My brothers and sisters have all been killed, very violently."
Yeah, this guy's a racist. Is he also racist against spiders? God, we hate this guy. If you don't want to kill him, that's fine. I get it. It's all a NPC situation. It doesn't really matter anyway. But if you just cut him out...
the ethics don't matter. Just murder.
Just go ahead and yeah, if you want to just take him and let him go. I'll walk with your people and we can clear up the hot spring. Are you guys also having issues with the contamination of the hot spring?
The spider's eyes all sort of blink in rapid succession. He says, "If I free him, he will destroy me, as he destroyed my brothers and sisters. The cult of Malar, the worshippers of the Beast Lord, they've brought desecration to the forest."
Oh, he's one of the... Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, kill him. I can't do it, but you need to do it, Mr. Spider. Do it. Stab him with your stinger or whatever.
And the spider just very... I guess make a persuasion check.
Oh no, I rolled a 3, so 20.
The spider just looks at you very sheepishly. It comes out of the bush and you can see that it's emaciated, clearly very hungry, not healthy, not well. And it goes over to the guy in the web and looks at you and says, "I will do it for Lurue!" And then he just starts eating him. As the cultist screams, "The Beast Lord will have his vengeance!"
I yell out, for Lurue. As I walk past him, I pat the spider on the back and just keep, going down the road.
Yeah, as you pat the spider on the back, there's a little flurry, a little shimmering golden light that comes off, and it sparkles. And also trails down the path that you're headed.
Cool. Yeah, I keep walking on down that path, whistling, beating on my drum, just kind of thinking about getting to that hot spring, getting happy with it.
You you follow along this path with the sparkling walls kind of on the side of you as you play the drum. You actually hear from your pocket, the book says, "Please refrain from distracting from the auditory experience of the lore of Lurue."
Well, I'm not gonna pick up the book. Okay. I stop drumming and put my drum back on my back.
"Thank you for obeying," it says. As you continue. Before too long...
I don't know if I took the book with me. I mean, I know you told me to, but I think I just kicked it closed and kept walking, didn't I? I mean, we'll say I took it.
Strangely, you find that even though you don't have the book on you, you can still hear the voice.
Nice.
And as you check, it's actually on your belt, weirdly. Just hanging off of it's like weightless and weird, but it's hanging off of your belt. You had it all along.
Eddie writes that down in the beta comments, so that needs to be expressly said to the participants. Okay, cool. Okay.
Before too long, you reach the bank of a river. It's a very calm, peaceful river. And ahead of you, you can see the moon, the full moon, glowing bright above this storm cloud, which now you can see really clearly. Those flashes of red light and these swirling black clouds just off in the distance. You hear the voice of Ecamain Truesilver say, "This will be your last place of rest before reaching the spring, or before reaching the pool of eternal spring. There is no going back now."
That's wonderful. Thank you, book. I guess I'm resting. And I'm gonna...
You're resting?
I mean, that's what the book told me. This is my last resting place before I go. So I'm just saying I'm gonna rest and hang out for a little bit, I guess, because I'm supposed to, and then... As you
sit there by the riverbank, you do hear behind you a little bit of chittering, and all of a sudden that spider comes up behind you, just with all kinds of nasty stuff dripping off of its pincers, and it sits next to you and it says, "It's been a weird day for me."
Spider NPC has become self-aware. Close the book. It's, just another day of the Lore of Lurue. Listen,
what does it mean to be alive?
It's all right sometimes, but you're not missing out on much. It's probably better you're just doing this Groundhog Day situation. Just don't think about it too much.
I've watched my brothers and sisters desecrated by cultists.
Yeah, and I get it, and it's horrible.
No one has ever come to save us.
Well, that's not...
Until you.
I mean, yeah, it's the beta test. Pretty soon you're just going to be like, God, will people stop coming to save the desecration? It's going to be a whole thing. Look, Mr... What's your name? Spider? That's racist. What's your name?
Spider 3.
Spider 3. All right, Spider 3. Listen, go ahead and head back to your spawn point, and I will let them know that your dark nightmare needs to be over immediately. Just trust me, you will feel better in the morning. Please go back to your spawn point. Do not think about it.
Make a persuasion check.
Do not think about it any further. That is a 24. 14 plus 10.
The spider looks at you with just like tears in its eyes and says, "Thank you. Might I know the name of my savior?"
Player 1.
"Thank you, Player 1. I will always hold Player 1 in great esteem forever." And it raises its thorax up and just like starts walking backward. It's kind of weird. Just like looking at you and just saying, "Player 1, Player 1, Player 1," as it disappears into the brush.
Eddie just underlines that the spider's become self-aware like 3 times. Spider 3, he makes a little annotation. And then he says, all right, well, that's enough sitting around. And he gets up and starts walking toward the corrupted spring.
Yeah, as you approach, the sound of thunder and the smell of carcasses gets worse and worse. And you can actually hear...
I wonder what's making the poison in the lake. Is it all the dead carcasses around?
You hear chanting. You hear people just chanting, Malar, Malar, Malar. And you hear drums being beaten. And as you kind of approach, you see ahead of you. How are you approaching?
I'm just walking normal speed, Eddie Hands, taking in the scenery, looking. I'm gonna look for bugs. Do I see any, not like actual bugs, but anything that looks a little off in the construction of this, from the magical construction of this world, or...
Yeah. I thought you meant literal bugs. I was like, well, there are some fireflies flitting around on the leaves.
No, I'm looking for like code bugs.
Make a perception check.
Okay. Already found the spider, the self-aware spider. Okay, that's perception. Ooh, 21.
What are you looking at specifically? Like, there's the woods around.
Yeah, the woods.
Yeah. You actually do see like a ways. It's very up close. It's actually really beautiful and serene. Like, the foliage looks really nice. All of these little twinkling lights and beautiful sort of like fairy stuff, except for this is the haunted part of the woods. So there's like a, negative. There's a little bit of fog. It's, it's very detailed, but like 50 feet out from you, like where you think that wall might be, past that, like you notice all the bushes look exactly the same.
Okay. I would like to write that down. Make a little note that the far out foliage might need a few different models. Okay. Let's go ahead then and move just into the lake. Am I there? Am I seeing it? What's going on?
As you get to the break in the trees, there's a little bit of a hill, and as you look down, you see a pool of water, but it is blood red. And as you're looking
from
down,
the carcasses.
Yeah, there are a bunch of carcasses in the lake. And there are 3 figures right at the bottom of the hill. 2 who look very much like the person that you saw in the webbing. They've got, though, heavy plate armor, and they've got battle axes that they're waving around. You actually see that they're also eating raw meat, like a mutton chop, just raw, and they're chanting, Malar, Malar, Malar.
Okay,
and
I would like to use disguise self to turn into the guy that was caught in the webbing. I did see his face, and I can see their clothes.
Okay.
And then I am going to approach them, going, Malor, Malor, Malor.
And actually, yeah, as you do that, they see you. Was there something else?
No. Yeah, when I get up to them, I want to say, all right, boys, praise be to Malar. We have new orders to take all of these carcasses out of this spring, just for right now. We'll talk about it after we've done it. But the boss and Malor himself, praise be to Malor, beast of all beasts, that they're, but we just gotta get these carcasses out of the water for right now. That's just the plan Malor has for us.
The 2 that were chanting look at you, and then look at the 3rd individual who is wearing similar like plate armor, but they have like a long cape and a cowl. They actually turn to you and they have this like scraggly beard and hair and these blood red eyes. They look at you and they say, Keith, did you fall on your head? What are you talking about? Praise be to Malar, by the way.
Praise be to Malar. No, I had to deal with spiders 1 and 2. Spider 3, unfortunately, got away. Look, Malor came to me in a bestial vision saying that it was time for us to take all of these carcasses out of the water, and then burn them in his honor so we can get new, better corpses to throw in the water. But we have to get these ones out, is what I'm saying first. He wants it out and then, like, let it be clean again, almost so we could, like, double dip, you know? Like, he did it once, but then he wants to, like, let it get clean so he can do it again. Are you questioning Malor?
the leader narrows his eyes at you. Make a persuasion check. The DC is going to be really hot.
That 20 plus 10 is 30.
Are you kidding me?
No. Right when I need it, coming in clutch.
Okay, so he looks at you, and all of a sudden, like, his head kind of twitches like this, and you hear him start to say, "The time has come to desecrate the pool of eternal spring and bring about desecration to Lurue." But you also see that his body starts to turn, and he, like, gets into the water and, like, starts pulling out the corpses, and the other two guys are literally just, like, their models just start short-circuiting, and they're looking at each other, and they're saying, "Praise be to Malor, and they just literally fall over as the other guy's dragging the carcasses out of the water. And as he pulls the carcass out, he just short-circuits and falls over.
Okay, so it is now clean, right? Technically, like, there's no more carcasses and stuff that got it. Like, it's clean.
Well, he got one carcass out before completely seizing up and no longer functioning.
Okay, how many corpses are left?
The water is stained red with the blood of the desecrated beasts of the forest.
All right. Does Eddie see a quest marker anywhere? Anything that looks like he's supposed to, like, go up and interact with it? He doesn't really want to get into the bloody water, so to speak.
You know, standing here with these three broken berserker AIs, it's unclear what he's supposed to do. He may have bitten off more than he could chew.
Well, Eddie's gonna head back to the tree.
You're gonna walk back to the tree?
Yeah, and just tell him what's up and let him know that Spider number 3 could probably help him get those carcasses out, that the cultists there have been dealt with, but, you know, it's still blood red and I don't know what to do about it, so...
Okay, you turn around and start to walk back up toward the tree line, and as you do, you hear the voice of that berserker guy say, "The time has come to bring about the desecration of the pool of eternal spring, and Lurue, and Selûne. Glory to Malor!" And then you hear, boom, a gigantic crash of lightning as a lightning strike. Well, you're turned around, so there's a bright flash of red light.
Okay, I'm gonna turn around and just see what's going on.
All of the berserkers are still laying on the ground, not moving.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna note that in my book and keep walking towards the tree. I mean, there's nothing else that I see that other than the berserkers on the ground, other than, like, that flash of light was nothing that I saw.
Make a perception check for me.
That is 18.
You see, actually, that rising, something is, like, trying to come up out of the water, but something seems to be wrong, like it's glitching or something. Like there's a little something trying to pop up out of the water, but it's not working.
Okay, I'm gonna write this in. Huge things about this. And I'm gonna kind of stutter to myself like, wow, they really thought this was ready, huh? They really, like, I haven't even been in here an hour and I've discovered a self-aware AI, and there's, you know, boss fights that are getting messed up just because, you know, he's kind of like scribbling in this thing just because I dealt with the cultists smartly, and I wasn't going to get my hands dirty dragging those carcasses out, so, he kind of pulls one of his vials of sanitizing lotion and puts it on his hands and rubs them together. And is there a way to disengage from the Lore of Lurue?
As you stand there and wonder about that, all of a sudden the clouds part and you hear a voice say, "My child, I have come to aid you." And the beautiful full moon is shining in the sky, and another bolt of lightning comes down and hits the pool. And all of a sudden, the berserkers are gone, and the pool is clean and clear. And standing in the middle of the pool is a beautiful unicorn with flowing starlight in its mane and a horn of shining, colorful magnificence. And it walks out to the edge of the pool and says, "You have done well, my child."
Thank you. Yes, I did it really well. It was really hard, that fight.
Thank you.
Is the
for
spring
purifying.
clear?
Yes, the pools of the waters of the pool of eternal spring will flow forth again. And here, at this site, there will be a great city of magic and reverence to the wonder of Lurue. And then all of a sudden there's a bunch of fireworks that pop up around the pool, and it's like starlight and swirling rainbow colors as this unicorn gallops in a circle around toward, like, rising up in a spiral toward the moon. And then there's stillness.
And Eddie Hands just kind of looks around, looks up at the unicorn.
And then you hear the voice of Ecumane Truesilver from your pocket say, "Thank you for experiencing the Lore of Lurue." And all of a sudden the book from your belt like lifts itself up and starts to open itself, and all of the stuff around you starts to like collapse in on itself like a black hole in on the book. And then with a thud, the book crashes down onto the desk of Madame Longquill, and you're standing back in her office, and she gasps at your return and says, she says, "How was it? How did it go?"
And he kind of steps back and says, "That was an experience. It was fun, but I do have some notes," he said as he pulls out his journal, specifically about Spider number 3 and the boss fight. Or what I assume was a boss fight that I didn't even get to do. And look, I didn't want to get my hands dirty anyway, so maybe for the best, but I was able just to outwit your AI and they fell in on themselves. It was kind of funny. And by the way, Spider 3 is self-aware. You need to deal with that immediately. Do not release that into the world. It will destroy all of humanity.
She looks at you, and she actually looks. There's somebody standing in the room who you had not seen previously. They must have entered at the time you were in the Lore of Lurue. An elvish, it looks to be like young adult or even teenaged person says, I promised it all checked out when I did it, Madame Longquill. I don't know what he's talking about." And Madame Longquill walks over to the book and looks at it and says, "4 hints used."
Oh, yeah, well, also, the other thing I'd like to point out is, it's very, like, give us a map and have, like, the people give us points on the map that we can generally walk to. I wouldn't do the whole light path situation. It feels very, I think the kids are saying railroady these days. Because it's...
Madame Longquill turns to the teenage elf and says, I told you that we should change the fundamental design of the path. I told you that, didn't I? And he says, "Madame Longquill, not everybody who comes to Candlekeep, is that smart. They just kind of want the experience. They just want to see the story."
They don't know how to look at a map? What's this kid's name? Oh my god, look at his hands. He has ugly hands too. Oh my god, that's...
The kid looks at his hands and looks at you and says, I knew he'd say something about my hands, Madam Lockwell. That's why I didn't want to be here.
That's mean. I shouldn't say anything. Everyone's beautiful in their own way, kid, but just listen. Okay, well, you got to fix the code, all right? The boss fight spazzed out on me, and again, the Spider 3, I promised Spider 3 I would put it out of its misery, so you have some obligation to make Spider 3 unself-aware. I don't know how you do that, but...
He looks to Madame Lonquil and he says, wait, you didn't see the part where the corrupted avatar of Lurue turns the berserkers into beasts and they eat each other?
No, I convinced all of the disciples to walk into the water and pull the carcasses out of the water, and then it, glitched, and it all just...
What? How did you do that?
I turned into one of the cultists, and I told them, in Lord Maru's name, or, not Maru, the beast guy's name.
He doesn't even remember the names of the characters. He wasn't paying attention, Madame Lonquil.
I didn't have to. That was my point. My point is, I didn't have to pay attention. You put a giant golden path in front of me and said, follow it, Jimmy. And so I followed it, and it didn't even work.
I bet he didn't even talk to the sprites at first. I bet he didn't even listen when the tree told him to talk to the sprites.
Well, I did listen. I just didn't realize. I thought it was a glitch because it was off of the path. Again, my point about the path, it was off of the path, Jimmy. That was my point. Who is this guy, madam? What is he, the coder guy? The magic scientist?
He was entrusted with the first diagnostics of the enchantment. Clearly, this needs to go higher up, doesn't it, Lenny?
Oh, Lenny. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Lenny, it's just maybe get a couple more experienced people on just to review your work. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it was all bad, but I'm just saying you need to... This
was made by the first High Mage of Silvery Moon, Ecumane True Silver. Yes, it did sit on a shelf for 300 years, but I thought it was fine.
Yeah, no, Jimmy, it's become self-aware or something. Figure it out. But thank you. I will, madam, expect my check in the mail plus damages. A bill will be sent. Yeah, do you have anything else for me? Again, it's very sweet. I'm gonna have to turn down the deal, though. If you maybe get Lenny, I don't know. It wouldn't be my first recommendation professionally, but you just saying.
Lenny kind of sulks off and says, "Can I go now?" And Madame Lonquil dismisses him. She turns to you and she says, I'm very sorry, Eddie. I would not have sent you in there if I knew it wasn't ready."
Yeah, well, we all knew a little bit, right? Test dragon. We all knew a little bit.
And she looks at the crowd and she says, "Please don't tell anyone I did this to you. None of the Avowed would try it. They were afraid."
Oh, well, it's probably good reason. It hurts a little bit. You call old Eddie in here telling him that there's, potentially business to be had. You use him as a test dragon and, there's not even a business opportunity. I'm just saying, madam, you owe me a couple, but that's okay.
Let me take you. We have a wonderful tavern. We have a wonderful tavern here at Candlekeep. I'll take you down there. We'll have a drink. It'll be wonderful. It'll be like old times. Come on.
I can't lift a drink, but you could, give it to me while I am sitting there. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Yeah, let's do that. That sounds good. Let's go.
She looks off into space, considering the legal implications, and decides that she will, in fact, force feed you a drink at the tavern. And that's where we'll end the session.
Whoa, what a fun adventure. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We had a really good time running this, the Lore of Lurue. It was fun. It was interesting. I enjoyed my character a lot. If you guys liked what you saw, please drop us a like. Comment down below if you have something to say. We love to hear from our community and love to talk and have conversation. And lastly, if you haven't already, please subscribe. It's the best way for Ben and I to see that you guys are there and to help us grow and develop on YouTube. Together we stand, right?
Yeah. I was not expecting this to go at all how it did. I had already made some adaptations to the adventure, and it went off in its own direction anyway as we were playing it, so this was super fun. We're going to be discussing this adventure over on our Patreon. We're going to have a long discussion about how it went and what changed and what we liked and didn't like about it, and we will be condensing that into the 3 lessons video next week. So if you want to support the channel, go check out the Patreon in the link in the description down below. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you again. We'll have new videos for you every week. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Ben.
And I'm Baxter. And remember, start adventuring.
Just start adventuring.